Hello there, my sweethearts, and a very warm welcome to dear Grandma. It's your old friend, Lily, here, with a nice cup of chamomile tea beside me. As the seasons of our lives gently unfold, I find such joy in sharing little nuggets of wisdom I've gathered over these many years. And today, I want to talk about something truly important: the simple, everyday ways we can care for this wonderful body of ours. You know, sometimes we focus on the big things, our doctor's appointments, our medications, and those are vital, of course. But often, it's the small, consistent habits, the little acts of self-care that weave the strongest threads into the fabric of our well-being. Today, I want to share 5 gentle routines, little moments of cleansing for parts of our bodies we might often overlook. These take just a few breaths each day, but trust me, the rewards in terms of energy, health, and sheer comfort can be immense. So, do make yourselves comfortable, perhaps with a warm beverage, and let's have a good, heart-to-heart chat about these small but mighty habits. Number 1. The gentle art of cleansing your tongue, unlocking flavor and freshness. Now, let me lean in and tell you something close to my heart. We are all so diligent about brushing our teeth morning and night, aren't we? Just as our wonderful dentists advise. And flossing? Absolutely splendid. But our poor tongue, it often gets overlooked, doesn't it? This remarkable muscle not only allows us to savor the delightful flavors of our meals, but also helps us share our thoughts and feelings through speech. Yet, it's also a veritable haven for countless tiny bacteria that settle in throughout the day. Think of it like a cozy little carpet in our mouths, trapping all sorts of microscopic visitors. Some of these little fellas are indeed helpful, aiding in the digestion of our food and maintaining a healthy balance within our oral ecosystem. But others, if left to their own devices, can be quite mischievous. Every time we partake in a meal, sip a comforting drink, or even simply breathe in the world around us, our tongue diligently collects minute particles of food, sloughed off skin cells, and a whole host of these tiny organisms. Neglecting to gently cleanse it is akin to allowing a messy guest to overstay their welcome, leaving behind a bit of a less than fresh environment. My dear friend Agnes, a truly delightful woman of 70 with a particular fondness for sweet treats. Oh, her lemon drizzle cake is legendary. Used to lament that her morning Earl Grey, her absolute ritual, had lost its zest. It's so muted, Lily, she'd sigh, a hint of disappointment in her voice. Her granddaughter, young Clara, a bright spark with a keen interest in well-being, noticed this subtle change in Agnes's enjoyment. Clara, always researching ways to support her beloved grandmother, had been reading about the importance of holistic oral care. One sunny afternoon, during a visit, she gently broached the subject with Agnes, suggesting that perhaps a gentle tongue cleanse might revive her tea-drinking pleasure. Agnes, initially a tad perplexed, "My tongue, dear," she'd chuckled, trusted Clara implicitly. So, Clara, with the enthusiasm of youth, procured a soft, pastel-colored tongue scraper from the local pharmacy, costing barely a few coins. Agnes, with a twinkle in her eye and a spirit of gentle curiosity, agreed to try this newfangled contraption. A week later, my telephone rang, and it was Agnes, her voice practically singing with delight. "Lily! My Earl Grey! It's singing on my palate again. The rich, bold flavor I remember. And you know," she confided, "even my breath feels lighter, fresher." She'd embraced this simple ritual, gently scraping her tongue each morning, and she even noticed that her enjoyment of food had been wonderfully enhanced. It's such a small, almost insignificant act, yet it brought such a lovely spark back into her daily life. And you know, it reminds me of what I read on Healthline. Maintaining good oral hygiene, including cleaning the tongue, can significantly improve taste perception and reduce bad breath. It's all connected, you see. Now, how do we embark on this gentle tongue-cleansing journey? It's remarkably simple, my dears. You can use one of those inexpensive tongue scrapers, often made of soft plastic, or even the textured back of your toothbrush will do in a pinch. Each morning, before you partake in your breakfast, that most important meal of the day, simply extend your tongue gently and, starting from the very back, gently glide the scraper forward towards the tip. Repeat this a couple of times, rinsing the scraper under warm water after each pass. And that's it. You can incorporate this into your bedtime routine as well. It takes barely a minute, perhaps the time it takes for the kettle to just come to a boil, but it can truly awaken your taste buds and leave your mouth feeling wonderfully refreshed. Number 2, tender care for our trusty feet, grounding ourselves in comfort and health. Next, let's turn our attention to our dear feet. Oh, these steadfast companions that have carried us through countless adventures over the years. Think of all the steps they've taken, the dances they've graced, the paths they've trod. Yet, often, they are the last to receive a little tender pampering, aren't they? A hurried splash in the shower might seem sufficient, but as we gather more years, our feet truly appreciate and benefit from a bit more mindful attention to keep them joyful and healthy. You know, our feet are veritable marvels of intricate engineering, a delicate assembly of 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments, all working in perfect harmony to keep us mobile and grounded. But as time gracefully marches on, our circulation might not be quite as vigorous, and the skin on our feet can become a tad more delicate and prone to dryness. Little areas of dampness, especially between our toes, can unfortunately become welcoming havens for unwelcome bacteria and fungi to set up shop. My dear neighbor, Mr. Henderson, a kind and sprightly gentleman of 75 with a deep passion for his rose garden, learned this rather uncomfortably. He'd always been a man of swift routines, his showers brisk, and he'd rarely take the extra moment to thoroughly dry his feet, particularly those often neglected spaces between his toes. One warm summer, I noticed him favoring one leg as he tended his beloved roses. "Is everything all right, Arthur?" I inquired with concern. He'd simply wave a dismissive hand. "Oh, just a bit of an itch, Lily. Nothing to fret about." But my experienced eye noticed a telltale redness and flakiness nestled between his toes, and a faint, rather unpleasant odor. "Arthur," I said gently but firmly, "that doesn't seem like nothing to me." I gently but firmly encouraged him to have it looked at. His son, David, a truly thoughtful and attentive young man, accompanied his father to the doctor. The diagnosis? A fungal infection, likely thriving in the consistently moist environment between his toes. The doctor's prescription was simple yet crucial. Wash the feet gently with warm water and a mild soap, and then, the key instruction, dry every single crevice meticulously, especially between each toe. He also recommended a simple moisturizing cream to keep the skin supple. Mr. Henderson, a man of few frills, grumbled good-naturedly about the extra fuss, but he diligently followed his son's gentle guidance and the doctor's orders. Every evening, I'd see him sitting on his porch swing with a small basin of warm water, his feet soaking peacefully. He confessed it felt like a mini vacation after a day spent amongst his roses. He'd then carefully wash, meticulously dry with a soft towel David had bought him, and gently massage in the cream. Within a few weeks, I saw him striding through his garden, pruning his roses with his usual vigor, no limp in sight. "How are those feet doing, Arthur?" I asked with a smile. He beamed. "Like they're 20 years younger, Lily. Walking's a pleasure again and no more of that bothersome itching." That simple, consistent routine had truly turned back the clock for his dear feet, improving his balance and allowing him to enjoy his long walks with his little terrier, Buster. It just goes to show, a little tender care for our feet can make a world of difference to our overall comfort and mobility. So, How can we bestow this gentle care upon our own trusty feet? It's really not arduous at all. You can use a small basin filled with comfortably warm water, or simply pay extra attention during your shower. Add a touch of mild soap, the kind that's gentle on your hands, and allow your feet to soak for 5 to 10 minutes. Feel that gentle warmth easing away the day's aches and stresses. It's quite soothing. Then, using a soft cloth or your own fingers, gently wash the tops, soles, and, most importantly, every single space between your toes. Rinse thoroughly with clean water, and here's the golden rule: dry them completely and meticulously. Use a soft towel, wiggling it between each toe to ensure no dampness lingers, as that's where those little troublemakers like to hide. Finish with a dab of plain, gentle moisturizer to keep the skin from becoming dry and cracked. And if your toenails are getting a bit long, do trim them carefully straight across, or kindly ask a loved one for assistance. Number 3. Gentle cleansing under our arms. A breath of freshness and comfort. Now, let's gently shift our focus upwards, to our underarms. This is an area we all know well, a daily destination for our deodorants and antiperspirants. But how often do we truly give it a thorough, loving cleanse? You see, our underarms are more than just the place where we want to smell nice. They are home to a network of important lymph nodes, those tiny but mighty warriors that play a crucial role in filtering out waste and keeping our bodies healthy and resilient. My dear friend Eleanor, a truly vibrant woman of 68 with a smile that could light up a room, has always had a penchant for lovely floral perfumes and a faithful reliance on her trusty deodorant. However, for years, she would occasionally be plagued by these rather bothersome skin irritations under her arms, itchy, red, and quite frankly, rather annoying. She'd often sigh and attribute it to just old skin acting up, accepting it as an inevitable part of aging. One sunny afternoon, as we were enjoying a pot of her fragrant jasmine tea on her porch swing, I gently inquired about her underarm cleansing routine. "Oh, just a quick wash with soap in the shower," she'd replied matter-of-factly. "And then my deodorant right after." I remembered a lovely article I'd read about the benefits of a more mindful approach to cleansing this area, emphasizing the importance of gently removing the buildup of sweat, dead skin cells, and the residue from our underarm products, which can sometimes lead to clogged pores and those unwelcome irritations. I suggested to Eleanor a small but potentially significant tweak to her routine: to use a mild, gentle soap, to wash the area with a soft cloth rather than just a quick swipe, to ensure she dried the area completely, and perhaps to wait a few moments after drying before applying her deodorant, allowing her skin to breathe a little. Eleanor, ever open to new ideas, though initially a little skeptical about the extra steps, agreed to give it a try. A week later, she arrived at my doorstep, her face beaming. "Lily, the rashes are gone. My skin feels so smooth and lighter somehow." That simple, gentle shift in her cleansing ritual had brought her such unexpected comfort and brighter days. The secret to this gentle underarm care is indeed simplicity itself. You'll need a soft washcloth, nothing too rough that might irritate your delicate skin, and some comfortably warm water. Add a small amount of a mild soap, the kind you'd use on a baby's skin, and gently massage your underarms in small circular motions. Imagine you're giving them a tiny, loving massage. This gentle action helps to lift away the sweat, grime, and product residue without any harshness. Rinse thoroughly with clean water, and then pat the area completely dry with a soft towel. Make absolutely sure it's bone dry, as any lingering moisture can invite trouble. Allow your underarms to air dry for a minute or two before you reach for your deodorant. It's like giving your skin a little breath of fresh air. If you find the skin feels a little tight afterwards, a tiny dab of plain, unscented lotion can add a touch of soothing comfort. Imagine the feeling, my dears. No more of that bothersome itch, no more stinging irritation. Just cool, clean underarms that feel fresh and comfortable throughout the entire day. For us who have enjoyed a good many years, this gentle practice is a quiet yet effective way to support our body's natural detoxification processes, helping to flush away impurities so we feel refreshed and revitalized from the inside out. Eleanor is now a devoted convert to this simple routine, often remarking that it's become her little me time every morning. Do give it a try, my sweethearts, and see how this quick, gentle scrub can lift not only your spirits but also your overall well-being. It's a true win-win. Number 4, gentle nasal care, opening the airways to easier breathing and deeper rest. Now, let's talk about our wonderful nose. It might seem like a small feature, but it plays such a vital role in our health and comfort. Think of it as our body's first line of defense, a diligent gatekeeper that filters out dust, germs, and pollen before they can sneak their way inside. But if we don't give it a little gentle attention, it can become like a gate that's rusted shut, hindering the smooth flow of air. My dear friend, Arthur, a robust 72-year-old who finds immense joy in his daily walks through the local park, spent many decades working in construction. He'd always attributed his frequent stuffy nose to his years spent around dust and dirt, often muttering, "Just getting old, I suppose," as he'd sniffle his way through our morning coffee chats. One particularly difficult period, he confided that he hadn't had a truly restful night's sleep in months, often waking up gasping for air. Concerned, I remembered reading about the benefits of gentle nasal rinsing for seniors, how it can help clear those passages and promote easier breathing. I gently suggested he try a simple saline nasal spray. It's just salt water, you see, very mild and inexpensive. He eyed the little bottle with a touch of skepticism. "Sounds a bit like all that newfangled health nonsense, Lily," he chuckled good-naturedly. But, trusting my years of experience, he agreed to give it a try, just once a day. 3 days later, there was a rather enthusiastic knock on my door. It was Arthur, his face alight. "Lily, I slept like a baby last night. My nose is clear, my head feels clear. Where has this little miracle been all my life?" He's a true believer now, a faithful advocate, giving his nose a gentle spritz every morning as if it were a magic potion. Joining Arthur in this simple practice is wonderfully easy, my dears. You can find saline nasal sprays readily available at any pharmacy, or you might even consider a neti pot, which uses a gentle flow of saline solution to cleanse the nasal passages. Both are gentle and perfectly safe. Every day, perhaps after your breakfast, simply tilt your head over the sink. Gently spray or pour the saline solution into one nostril, allowing it to naturally drain out the other. It's akin to gently flushing out a dusty pipe. The whole process takes barely 30 seconds, often less. If the idea of a spray or pot feels a little daunting, you can also achieve a soothing effect by simply creating a steamy environment in your bathroom with a warm shower and breathing deeply, allowing the warm, moist air to gently loosen any congestion. Afterwards, just gently wipe your nose with a soft tissue, and you're all set to breathe freely. Feel that? That smooth, unimpeded flow of air. No more battling against that stuffy feeling. At night, you'll likely find yourself drifting off to sleep more easily, enjoying a deeper, more restorative rest, and waking up feeling refreshed and ready to embrace the day, rather than dragging yourself out of bed as before. Arthur often remarks that his mornings are brighter now. He even whistles a little tune while making his tea. For us who have enjoyed a good many years, a clear nose isn't just about comfort. It's also a gentle shield against those pesky colds and sinus aches. Try it just once, my dears, and you might find it's like a little hug from the inside. Number 5, gentle attention to our belly button, a tiny spot with unexpected significance. And finally, let's have a quiet little chat about our belly button. That small, often forgotten indentation right in the middle. It might seem insignificant, a mere remnant of our very beginnings. But don't underestimate this tiny nook. Whether it's deep or shallow, it can be a surprisingly cozy little haven where sweat, lint from our clothing, dead skin cells, and even tiny remnants of soap can sometimes gather and linger. My dear friend Beatrice, a meticulously neat and organized woman of 78, once mentioned a persistent, rather puzzling little twinge in the general vicinity of her stomach. She initially dismissed it as just a random ache, something one simply had to accept with the passage of time. However, during her next routine checkup, her observant doctor gently noticed a slight redness and a hint of irritation right within her belly button. "How on earth did that happen?" she'd exclaimed, quite taken aback. "You'd be surprised, Beatrice," her doctor had replied gently. "It's an area that can sometimes harbor a little collection of things. A little gentle cleaning can often make all the difference." Beatrice, always diligent about her health, started a simple routine. Each time she bathed, she'd take a soft, warm washcloth and gently cleanse around and inside her belly button. For those little deeper crevices, she discovered that a cotton swab dipped in warm water was perfect for gently coaxing out any tiny bits of lint or soap. The most important step, she learned, was to ensure it was completely dry afterwards. She'd simply pat it gently with a soft towel. Within a week, she reported with a little chuckle, "It's gone! No more twinge, no more redness. My skin even feels a little softer there. Who knew such a tiny spot could cause such a fuss?" So, here's your wonderfully easy how-to, my dears. The next time you're bathing, simply wet a soft washcloth with comfortably warm water. Feels rather nice, doesn't it? You can add a tiny drop of mild soap if you wish, and then gently rub around and inside your belly button. For those of you with deeper belly buttons, a cotton swab dipped in warm water can be a helpful tool to gently twirl inside and collect any hidden debris. The crucial final step is to dry it thoroughly. Just a gentle pat with your towel, ensuring no dampness remains. This tiny ritual takes barely a minute, perhaps the time it takes to hum a little tune, but it can truly keep those little irritations at bay. Imagine slipping into your cozy bed at night, knowing that every inch of you feels fresh and clean, without any little itches or worries. For us who have enjoyed so many wonderful years, these small victories truly add up, contributing to better skin health, fewer unexpected trips to the doctor, and a greater sense of overall peace and well-being. Beatrice has now turned this simple act into a little ritual, often calling it her little secret to feeling completely refreshed. Do try it tonight, my sweethearts, and see how something so small can indeed make your days that much brighter. So there you have it, my dears. 5 gentle, yet wonderfully effective ways to cleanse those parts of our bodies that we might sometimes overlook in our daily routines. Our tongue, our feet, our underarms, our nose, and our dear little belly button. Just a few moments each day dedicated to these simple acts of self-care can truly make a remarkable difference in how we feel, helping to ward off those little bothersome issues, and perhaps even adding a little extra sparkle to our wonderful years. These habits are quick, they are simple, and the rewards, increased energy, improved health, and a greater sense of overall comfort, are truly immeasurable. Now, I'm ever so curious. Which of these gentle habits will you try first? Do share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I always cherish hearing from you. And if you found these little nuggets of wisdom helpful, please do consider sharing this video with your loved ones. And perhaps subscribe to Dear Grandma for more heartfelt tips and gentle guidance as we navigate these golden years together. Take the very best care of yourselves, my sweethearts, and I shall look forward to our next little chat. Until then, do be well.